Okay, we are Lamed Vav Amud Bet, 36b. We're at the bottom, 2 dots at the bottom. 5 lines up from the bottom. Melamedo midrash halachot va'agadot, aval lo yelamedenu mikra. So we saw, this is from our Mishnah, that if let's say a person makes a promise, he's not going to benefit from Reuven, they're not going to benefit from each other, you could still teach him midrash, halachot, and agadot, but you can't teach him pesukim. You can't teach him pesukim. So we have to find out why is pesukim different. So the Gemara says, mikra mai ta'ama lo yilamedenu. Pesukim, why can't you teach him? You could teach him the other ones, it seems. The Gemara is not asking, it's interesting, why the Gemara is not asking, how can you teach the other ones? But Gemara says, okay, fine, you could teach the other ones, why not mikra? What's the difference? Answers the Gemara, mishum de kamehanile, because you're making him benefit. This is talking about that they would pay money to learn, so the tuition, and now if you teach him for free, so he's going to be benefiting from it. So midrash nami kamehanile. We just started. So if you remember, we said that in the last Mishnah, if even if you say, I don't want to benefit from this guy, we're not benefiting from each other, you can still teach him midrash, halachot, agadot, not psukim. So the Gemara asks, mikra mai tamalo yudamedenu, psukim, why can't you teach him? Mishum dekamani, because you're going to be benefiting him. Because this is talking about where they pay tuition, pay money to learn. And now what happens is if, say, you teach him without him having to pay, you're giving him a benefit. And that you can't do. So says the Gemara, midrash nami kamani. Then hold on a second, but midrash you could do? If you teach him midrash for free, isn't he also going to be paying for that? So you're also giving him a benefit. Amar Shmuel, says Shmuel, b'makom shenotnim sachar al mikra ve'notnim sachar al midrash. Talking about a situation where it was a place that they would have to pay for learning psukim, and they didn't have to pay for learning midrash. So therefore, you could teach him midrash, because anyways he wouldn't have to pay. So you're not giving him a benefit. Now, even though you're giving him the Torah benefit, so we're going to see that Torah is supposed to be bechinam. So, but it's talking about a place that they would charge for mikra, for psukim. So if you're going to teach him for free, then you're giving him a benefit, and that's why there's a difference in the Mishnah. The Gemara asks, "My paska," meaning what type of psak is that? What type of halacha is that? Meaning the Mishnah is saying, okay, you could teach, even though you said among each other we're not benefiting from each other, you could teach him midrash, halachot, agadot, not psukim. Why? Because we're talking about a place where they charge money for psukim and they don't charge money for the others. So then just say at the beginning, if it's a place where you charge money, then you can't benefit from him. But if it's a place that you don't charge money, it doesn't matter what you're learning. So how does it work like that? That's the Gemara's question. We're setting up this, teach him midrash halachot agadot, not mikra. Why? Oh, mikra is talking about a place where they charge, and the other places they don't. Just say then a place where you charge, no, and a place where you don't charge, yes. Says the Gemara, next page. Hakamash no, what it comes to teach you is the following: De'afilu b'makom shenotlim sachar, even in a place where they pay money for tuition, ala mikra shari l'mishkal, ala midrash lo shari l'mishkal. Even in a place where regularly it's tuition in order to learn. On psukim, you're allowed to take the money. So when this guy says, I don't want to benefit from you, I don't want to benefit from you. Here's a place where they take money in order to learn. So for psukim, take money from the guy. Oh, maybe now you're benefiting. No, because you're giving him. And that's the place where there's it's a give and take there. It's like a trade. There's no benefit. Al mikra shari l'mishkal. Al midrash lo shari l'mishkal. On Midrash, there you're not allowed to take the money. So it seems you're allowed to teach him, but you're not allowed to take the money. So how does this work? So it says the Gemara, Maishna Midrash. What's the difference when it comes to Midrash? That you're not taking, if it's a place where they a place you're not nim sachar. So why are you not taking and you're giving it to him for free? Maishna Midrash delo. Why Midrash no? Says the Gemara, Dichtiv, Pasuk says, Ve'oti tziva Hashem v'ayetahi l'lamed etchem. Says Moshe Rabbeinu that Hashem commanded me at that time to teach you. Uchtiv, and the Pasuk says, Re'eh limati etchem chukim mishpatim kasher tzivani Hashem. Look, I taught you chukim mishpatim like Hashem commanded me. Ma'ani bechinam, afatem nami bechinam. Just like me, says Moshe Rabbeinu, was taught for free, so too I teach for free. So, for free. So therefore, you don't take when it comes to Midrash, but the Gemara now asks, Mikra nami b'chinam. So then Psukim also for free. Meaning it's either like Torah is all one. So Midrash, Mikra, Halachot, Agadot. Why are we splitting? And we're saying, okay, so Mikra you could take because that there was tuition for that. Midrash no, because you're not supposed to teach for free. So Mikra nami b'chinam. So Mikra Psukim also should be it's free. It should be for free from these Psukim. Says the Gemara, Rav Amar Schar Shimur. Rav says the reason is what you're paying for is the reward for guarding. Let's say it's kids learning Torah. Now they're babysitting. They have a place to go 9 to 5. You drop the kids off and they come back 5 o'clock, and fine. So you're not supposed to. You don't pay for Torah, but there's someone watching them, and therefore that's the payments for. Pretty high tuition for babysitting, yeah. So Rabbi Amar Schar Shimur. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Schar Pisuk Ta'amim. Rabbi Yochanan says that when it comes to Mikra, there's the reward of what you're paying for is the Ta'amim. The Ta'amim is not is separate from the Mikra, and teaching in the Ta'amim how to sing the cantillations of the Psukim, that is not Torah exactly, and that you could charge for. So Rav says Schar Shimur, Yochanan says Schar Pisuk Ta'amim. Now Schar Shimur, so Schar Pisuk Ta'amim, I don't have an answer for this right now, but Schar Pisuk Ta'amim is a reward for the Ta'amim. So that I understand, that has to do with Psukim only. That there's no Ta'amim by Midrash, there's no Ta'amim by Halachot. So that makes sense. But Rav that says it's hard to pay for the babysitter, for the fact that your kid's being watched. So if you teach a Midrash also, he has to be watched. So what's going on? Why? Like I don't understand why this answer of Rav doesn't apply to the other pieces of Torah as well. Halachot, Agadot. If someone's watching the kid, maybe it's because only children learn Psukim, and adults also, but maybe children don't learn how to halachot agadot at the young age. So we're talking about children over here. At this point of Rav, it's talking about children. You're watching them because you don't need to watch for adults. We're going to talk about that. So maybe they only learn Mikra. They only learn Psukim. Maybe that's an answer. Check this out a second. Maybe it addresses it. Yeah, usually psukim is taught to small children, and the tutor must ensure that the kids don't leave the classroom, whatever, wander the streets. Yeah, okay. So midrash, however, is part of oral law, which is taught to older youths from age 10 and above who don't need safeguarding. Age 10 and above don't need safeguarding. Okay, it was back in the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fine. So when it comes to psukim, you could take. You could take payment. What's the payment for? Rav says watching the kids. Kids are the ones that learn psukim, and Rav Yochanan says teaching of the ta'amim. Okay. Okay. This is the Gemara. Tanan. Lo yilamedenu mikra. Says the Mishnah, don't teach the person psukim. That's what we saw. You could, you made this. I'm not benefiting from you. You're not benefiting from me. Don't teach him psukim. We saw that. So, how do we understand now according to these explanations? According to the explanation that says that it was a place if you get reward for the tamim, that's what it means. Don't teach him. I mean, don't teach him for free because you're making him benefit. Right? You had a rule. You had a neder between the two of you, not to benefit from each other. So, unless he pays, and there's a trade-off. But if he's not paying, it's something of value. Don't teach him. Says the Gemara, according to the explanation that says you're paying for watching the kid, is an adult. Do you need to watch him? Right? You don't. So meaning, when two adults make a neder, I'm not benefiting from you, not benefiting from me. So the Mishnah says, don't teach him psukim. Why not teach him psukim? Well, because according to there's one explanation. It says because it's something that people charge for, teaching the ta'amim, and you're giving him a benefit. Another explanation is because you have to watch him, and you should get paid for watching him. Watching an adult, like what's going on here? We're talking about Nedarim. What's watching over here? So that means you're not. Then you shouldn't have to pay because he can watch himself. There's no watching. There's no babysitting for this adult, and therefore teach him. So the Gemara bekatan katan. We're talking about a katan child, but the Gemara says ibe katan ema seifa aval melamedet benav mikra katan barbanihu. The Gemara says, I don't get it. We're talking about katan. We're talking about a case of a neder, meaning, okay, you want to say a katan in the rules of learning back in the day, they would charge tuition to teach psukim to the katan because we have to watch the katan. We have to make sure he doesn't go in damage. We have to watch him. So we charge money for that. That's in the laws of Talmud Torah. That's in the laws of tuition. But over here we're applying this to Nedarim. We're talking about a katan over here. How could we talk about katan? Because look at the end of the Mishnah. The end of the Mishnah says that if you make a neder between two people, hey, I'm not benefiting from you, you're not benefiting from me, and one is a katan, but the end of the Mishnah says, but you're allowed to teach his son Torah. Can his son? 1 second. That's for sure. What's it called? My wife borrowed her phone on Friday to call me.
Even if it is, in case of he has to pay, isn't that also benefiting? Like when he pays,
no.
The receiver is benefiting.
No, so it seems like because he's giving
But no,
teaching. He's giving value.
As you said, is they are not going to benefit from each other. So the one who receives the money is benefiting obviously, because in earlier cases we always assumed the seller
buyer,
or
seller.
like,
So that's what we said, because we said a seller sells items, and
but like
and,
a
and
teacher who is teaching for money.
So maybe it's the amount that for again, we're saying for watching, for it's there's a trade. I'm giving you something, you're giving me something, right?
In all of the cases, it was
No,
like
because
that.
this is like, if you're not going to give me anything and you're just getting knowledge, you're getting my for free.
One side is benefiting, other side.
So it's
in
not
the other
benefiting;
case,
it's a
both
trade.
of them are
No, so
benefiting.
it's looking like a trade off.
So how it's different than me selling you a mug? Because I'm selling, I'm benefiting, and you're buying, you're benefiting, and there is a money transaction.
Right.
It's exactly the same
Right.
situation, but
No,
in
so we
earlier
said-
cases it was not okay.
So we said that again. We said by selling items, by selling items, the seller is. I don't remember exactly. I think that the seller was the one that
Sometimes-
was benefiting because
sometimes.
Making a
Depending
profit.
on the case.
We discussed the profit.
the profit.
It's benefiting of a profit. The person
I
buying
think
it.
at this point, Rabbi, the person who made the neder is the one who's learning. The teacher is not. He's
It's a one way.
Yeah, one way. It's not.
It's not another
But
two
the
way.
case is right
So
now.
the teacher can benefit, but not the student.
How come? Because Rabbi
Because
just
he's the one
said
who made the
they are
neder.
not allowed to benefit from each
I
other.
don't know. So you're saying that the case here, the Gemara is talking about a one way
Yeah,
neder?
that's the case.
One way neder. Mm.
For one way, you're right.
אבל לא ילמדן מקרא,
Benefit.
אבל באמת הוא, where do we know that it's a one way?
The student can benefit. The teacher can, but the student cannot.
But
Yeah, that's the case.
why do we know that? No.
המודר למחברו. המודר חנאה, because it goes back to the first, המודר הנאה מחברו. It's one way, not two ways. That's what you're saying?
One way.
Okay.
So that's what we're saying over here? One way?
Yeah.
And therefore, if it's one way,
So yeah,
so I can get the money, but I can't.
so one side can benefit, the other can't. Okay.
It's only going one way, and therefore, I could receive the money. But let's say,
But again,
let's say we're talking about
Remember the.
midrash or whatever, right? So you said then I can't receive the money. And midrash, you could teach him.
also the learner, the student is benefiting still, like even if he's paying, because like in earlier cases again, what we buy, if it's something valuable, like when we bought food, it was considered benefiting, because
You can also get it and learn from somebody else. It doesn't make a difference whether
but in the food it wasn't. If you can get food, you can get apple from anyone else, exactly the same situation, but you are not allowed to get it, because when you buy the food, you are benefiting from it. So how come Torah is less important than food? That I'm not benefiting.
We're saying it's
by
more
learning
important
it.
that you could still teach him, even though you made a neder, you could still teach him. But then we said, but not psukim.
No. Is it the student or the teacher benefiting? Because right now
It seems like it's
you
the
shifted
student.
it.
It seems like the student.
So
But yeah, the teacher is getting the money, in our case. But
yeah, but the question is the student is benefiting or not
so
by learning.
it's a benefit, but that's what you're saying. The Torah is bechinam, right? That's why that's all these psukim. The Torah is bechinam. So okay, we have a neder among each other, but Torah is bechinam. So yes, you're benefiting the limud Torah. That's the greatest benefit, but Torah is supposed to be taught, so there's no monetary benefit. Psukim, there's a monetary benefit. Okay, that's watching the kids, or that's teaching something outside of Torah a little bit, which is the ta'amim. Right, so that's where the money benefit is. Now, So I guess it's one way because meaning if I don't charge you for the for watching the kids, then you're benefiting. I'm watching your kid for free. Or if I don't teach you for the pisuk ta'amim, which is not Torah, then it's like another job, or it's like anything else that I'm benefiting. So I'm giving you a benefit. So there would need to be payment for that. So I guess because it cancels out. It's not like I'm giving you a benefit because you paid for it. Yeah, I guess it's one way over here because you're paying for this, and I'm giving you something for it. So you didn't benefit from me. You paid for it. That's it. Yeah, simple as that. Yeah.
But a student always benefit regardless of payment.
Because he's learning. So, but if
he gets something out of every teaching.
Yeah, so if it's Torah, it's okay because it's supposed to be bechinam. But if it's for watching him, the kids, or if it's for
watching
teaching,
a kid is not teaching. It's
yes.
a different function.
Right. So for the watching the kid, there is payment for that because if he doesn't pay, he benefited. You just had free babysitting service, and we made a Nedarim like each other. So you got to pay in order to not have a benefit from me. So now you watch my kid. Here's payment. That's substitute. So I'm not gaining. That's the benefit. Is a gain. That's what it is. I'm not gaining from you. Okay, let's come back here. So now we have the machlok and Rav and Rav Yochanan. Rav says we're talking about payment for babysitting. Rav Yochanan says payment for the ta'amim. So Tanan lo yom mikra. We learned in the Mishnah, don't teach psukim. That's good according to the Manda Amar that says the reward for teaching ta'amim. That's what it means. Don't teach him because unless you pay. But there's so unless you pay. One second. Not unless you pay. If you, the Mishnah says, don't benefit. Don't teach him psukim. Don't teach him psukim. So why not psukim? Psukim is Torah. Because there is the machlok here watching babysitting the kids, or teaching ta'amim. Where ta'amim is generally for schar, for reward, and if he doesn't pay the reward, if he doesn't pay the tuition, then he's benefiting. Okay, so that makes sense. So now, if we're talking about not watching the kid, but then in the Neder story, it's a gadol, it's an adult, so there's no need to watch him. And if there's no need to watch him, then you could teach him psukim. So it's a little bit katan katan. It's not a katan. It's not a katan, but that's nice in the laws of Talmud Torah that you got to pay for watching the kids. You got to pay for even though Torah's for free, you got to pay because he's watching the kids. But ibe katan, if we're talking about a katan in the laws in the story of Nedarim, ema seifa, the end of the Mishnah says aval melamed et banav mikra. You could teach his children. Even though there's a neder there, you can teach his children psukim. Katan barbanim, can a katan have kids? What's going on over here? If we're talking about the payment of watching the kids, that's what you're paying for. So that's nice in the laws of Talmud Torah in general, how you could charge for teaching. So, but when I apply this to the neder case, then we're talking about adults over here, because we're not. You could teach his kids Torah, not a katan's kids. What's going on? Answers the Gemara Chasura Mechsera. No. There's a piece missing, and this is what it meant to say. Lo yilamedenu mikra bekatan. Don't teach psukim by a katan. Im haya gadol melamedo lo ulbanav mikra. And if he's an adult, you can teach him and his children psukim. So if he's a katan, I guess if there's a neder on a katan, if there's a neder on a katan, or I guess there's a neder on this guy's on the father but you could teach him and his children Torah, and I think maybe children that are above age of katan, because there's no watching. It's just you're teaching Torah and teach Torah for free. Okay, so that's how it could work according to both explanations.
I have here,
Yeah.
it says here, he may teach his son because the payment is for watching his son.
He may teach his son because the payment is for watching his son.
2 for 1.
He may teach his son because the payment is for watching the son.
He's teaching and watching at the same time.
Yeah, that's for sure what's going on. You're teaching and watching, but don't teach psukim by a katan. So what did that say again, Ezra?
It starts with he may teach him because he does not require watching, and he may teach his son because the payment is for watching his son.
That's with the banav mikra. So you're allowed to teach his kid who's a katan. And I guess the neder wasn't on the kid.
So maybe
There's also
after
another
anyway.
one, like,
Yeah.
There's an objection.
Right.
Look at this one.
The katan ktani. Mishnah speaks only of a neder is still a child. His tutor can therefore accept payment for safeguarding him if the tutor wages fee. The subject of the neder benefits unlawfully, right? So you have to pay for it. If it's a katan, how can a katan have kids? Okay. Chazor machzera. He may not teach him psukim. This refers only to a subject of the neder who is a child. But if the subject of the neder was an adult, he may teach him as well as his son scripture. So the Mishnah below who support children who are subject to the neder, even though subject to the neder would otherwise be allowed to pay for support. Similarly, the Mishnah below, I guess 38, rules that one may support the children of the subject of a neder, even though the subject of the neder would otherwise be obligated to pay for the support. Children, I guess, are not included in the parent's neder. Okay, let's see. So now. Okay, so according to that explanation that says you're paying for watching the kids, so if he's a kid, don't teach him. If the kid is involved in the neder, but the gadol, you can teach him psukim. And banav, you could teach him psukim because he's not involved in the neder, and even if you're going to watch him, he's not involved in the neder. I guess in the first case, the katan is involved in the neder. Okay, a question on that. Metive. Tinokot lo korin batchila b'Shabbat. Children, you don't teach them for the first time something new on Shabbat. תינוקות לא קוראים בתחילה בשבת, אלא שונים בראשון. But they review on Sunday. You don't teach something new on Shabbat. Why not?
Why we're not
How can you
teaching
review on
kids?
Sunday if you don't teach? You're not supposed to teach on Shabbat. You're reviewing because you taught on Shabbat.
And why not
Right, you're
teaching on Shabbat?
One second.
I mean, only if it carries throughout the week. Like if you're teaching daily, it's like.
So don't come to the Shira on Shabbat if you're learning once a
No,
week.
it's new. If you're learning something new, yeah. Other
Like
people in the show.
Okay, if we're paying, then.
Kiddush club is
Exempt.
mitzvah gedolah. but like
Tinokot, but that's tinokot. So you call them their children?
They are
No,
children.
children.
These
Tinokot.
guys are all
Everybody
children.
has
They're the biggest
grandparents.
babies in the world.
Tinokot lo korin v'techila b'Shabbat. Forgot the reasoning. Shanim Rishon. What is it? What's the reasoning over there again? I don't think for the first time because there's a. School children may not read new scripture material on Shabbat. 14. They may not be taught verses that they never learned previously.
Why?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
It's stressful.
It's
Shabbat
stressful,
is
that's
supposed
it,
to be
that's
Would be
it.
necessary. to
What
pay
what are they
Yeah.
supposed to be?
A lot of work.
When you
It's
learn
stressful,
something new,
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not. It's a little
That's
hard,
what it
right?
was.
It's because it goes back to the
You're on
punctuation.
Shabbat,
and,
and Shabbat being
No.
on Shabbat.
Learning is learning, and
No.
it's not
Yeah,
stressful.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's
For,
what it
for
is.
grown-ups, it's enjoyable, but
For kids. That's what it
Talking
is.
about for the
For
kids.
kids, you're teaching the new things on Shabbat. It's right. It's not Oneg Shabbat.
No, it goes back to punctuation and the ta'amim. Because it's like you're going beyond teaching the passage, you're teaching them exactly how to
Read
do
them.
the pronunciation.
And that's
So
stressful.
There's a heart for that. So, yeah.
Okay, let's see. Elashonim barishon, but you review, or sorry, rather you teach, not review. You teach the new stuff on Sunday. You teach the new stuff on Sunday. Mishnah Amar Amar Schar Pisuk Ta'amim. It's good according to the explanation that says there's a reward for Ta'amim. The end Korim B'Techila B'Shabbat. That's why you don't teach new things on Shabbat. Why? I guess because new ta'amim difficult. El leman damar schar shimur, amai en korim betchila b'Shabbat. Ve'amai shonim barishon, ha'ika schar shimur Shabbat.
By the way, here Rishon is not translated as Sunday, but for the first time.
For the first time. El shonim barishon.
You can. It's the first time on Shabbat. You can review the subject. You cannot teach for the first time, but you can review.
Review.
I mean, I don't know which is.
תינוקות לא קוראים בתחילה בשבת, אלא שונים בראשון. So Mishnah Malman Damar Schar Pisuk Ta'amim. It's good according to the explanation that says Pisuk Ta'amim. Hanu de en korim betchila b'Shabbat. Elaman Damar Schar Shimur. According to the explanation that says you're paying for the reward. You're paying for the watching the kid. Amai en korim betchila b'Shabbat. ומה שונים בראשון, העיקר שכר שימור דשבת.
So all this is a question? It sounds like a question.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, this was prepared really late last night, so.
Usually when there's metives, it turns into a question. It's like
Yeah.
asking why.
It's a question on Rav. Rav is the explanation that said watching the kids. Schar of Shimur. Okay, school children may not read new scripture on Shabbat, but they may review material for the first time. They may review material.
For example, there's a shiur on Shabbat for children, and every Shabbat they learn a new material.
Yeah, but
So
if
this is
you
not
go-
allowed.
If you go farther down, it says habla, so it means that it carries through the week.
No, like
Now that's the char. We're just talking about the learning part. Look, nowadays learning is not as stressful as it was then. Remember then they say one pasuk learn, they get smacked. Right here it's
Still
just
works same way.
just the learning, the fact of learning. You know,
when I was a kid, it worked that way.
when we were kids, it's always different. Now, according to the one who says a tutor or scripture receives payment for the teaching of the cantillation of the verses, well and good. That's why they may not read new material on Shabbat, but may review material on Shabbat. Teaching people the cantillation of new verses is strenuous, but overseeing the review is not. A tutor of scripture is therefore paid primarily for teaching of fresh material. On Shabbat, the pupils may not engage in study for which their tutor is paid, because one is forbidden to receive payment for employment on Shabbat. Hence, they may not read new material, but may review material under their tutor's supervision for which the tutor is not paid. Okay, so that's the thing. We're talking about Shabbat now, and you can't pay a guy to work on Shabbat. So if it's new material, then it makes sense. Okay, so we're asking from the concept of working on Shabbat. So and teaching Torah, but the teacher is working on Shabbat. So if it's new psukim, and what are you paying for? You're paying for the cantillations. You're paying for the ta'amim. If it's new psukim, you're actually teaching it. So you can't do that on Shabbat. You're getting paid for that. So that's a payment thing. Can't do that on Shabbat. So now what are you doing? You're teaching him. You review. And review is it's okay. It's not strenuous work.
So why not?
But then for the watching him, you're still watching the kid on Shabbat. So how are you going to receive payment for that? But according to the one that says the tutor receives payment for safeguarding his pupils, why is it that they may not read new material on Shabbat, whereas they may review material for the first time? There is, in either case, payment for safeguarding them on Shabbat. Children must equally be safeguarded whether studying fresh material or reviewing past material. If a tutor is paid for safeguarding his pupils, then without regard to the nature of their studies, then engaging with a tutor on Shabbat constitutes prohibition of employment. Meaning, if the employment is based on new material or not new material, so don't teach new material on Shabbat, and then this guy is not getting paid. He's not doing anything. We're in the world of the teaching the cantillations, teaching the ta'amim. But according to the explanation that says, what are you paying this tutor for? He's watching the kids. So you're watching the kids on Shabbat. Doesn't matter what you're teaching. Doesn't matter if you're teaching for the first time or not for the first time. So uleta'amech. We're just going to do one more line anyway. Uleta'amech schar pisuk b'Shabbat mi asur. According to your reasoning, is schar to teach Torah as far as even the psukim, is that asur? Havlahi. It's havla swallowed, and we've been learning in the laws of Shabbat. We're talking about this teacher teaches all week, and then he gets paid at the end of the month. Let's say he gets paid for the week also, and the Shabbat swallowed in. So if the Shabbat payment swallowed in, that's allowed. That's a way to make things allowed. So this guy's working on Shabbat, but he's working by teaching the kids psukim. We say when he gets payment at the end, he gets paid for the 6 days, and the Shabbat is like swallowed in there. So it's like, in a way, he's not paid just Dafka for Shabbat, and that's allowed. And what do you see? The Tanya has a bright that says that we are allowed to pay like that. And I left that Tanya for tomorrow anyways, because it continues in the next page. Mm-hmm. So we'll go back tomorrow to the Metiveh. It's already a couple lines up. And we'll continue from there, B'ezrat Hashem.
Okay. So may I ask a question?
Yeah.
I understand why it's not okay to teach on Shabbat new material if you're a teacher. But why the Barata says children may not read a new on Shabbat? It should say you cannot teach. Because, for example, I'm a school child. I just opened the stuff and I'm trying to learn. Why I cannot read? Because the Barata says children may not read. It doesn't say teachers cannot teach. Why? I understand why, but it doesn't work.
Strenuous for the kids. But then we want to know, okay, that's strenuous for the kids.
Actually, it should be for the teachers.
No, but then we say, okay, this is talking about who's teaching on Shabbat. Oh, their teacher that gets paid. How does this guy get paid?
Maybe the father is teaching. But it doesn't. The Baraita doesn't say.
We're talking about a teacher.
The Baraita says kids cannot learn.
Okay, so if it's the father, it's the father. We're talking if it's the teacher. If it's the teacher, how does the teacher? How does it work? Good morning. How does it
Teacher
work?
part, I understand why there is a
So that's the
question.
question. Okay, so the father
But like, no, I'm trying to learn, not the Nedar part of it.
the
but
Torah
why?
part,
Yeah.
strenuous part. No, not applicable to our generation. I
For
think,
sure,
yeah.
but
Let them learn something at least.
exactly, I understand.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
you know.